Regulation from midcourt very nearly went in for the win. Hulls starting junior Oladipo, Sheehy, Watford, and Zeller, the incredible freshman for the Hoosiers. And here is Kentucky at 34-2 with Teague, Lamb, Kidd-Gilchrist, Jones, and Anthony Davis already named on several fronts the National Player of the Year. All right. Settle in for Indiana, Kentucky in the tournament. For only the fourth time ever, they meet in the NCAA tournament. And on the first such occasion since back in the 80s. Oladipo missing the shot, and it's Kidd-Gilchrist from Kentucky with Teague in the paint, kicking it back out. Jones has got a three and opens the game, zeroing in on the long shot for three.
That shot created by the penetration and quick thrust of Marcus Teague, who's really been outstanding over the last month and a half, Jim. Running the team, handling things extremely well from the point guard spot.
Tom Crean's team sees Anthony Davis pick up a foul on the Kentucky side. Crean just rebuilding the program really from the ashes, from sanctions and all sorts of troubled times as Zeller comes in and lays it in. Look at the big man driving to the hoop.
And that was the centerpiece of starting to move forward in a big way, Cody Zeller. And one of the things to look for, Jim, is his ability to do just that. Take Davis away from the basket and driving or be able to knock down the mid-range jump shot.
Now Jones. Another jumper. By the way, he had 2 points in that game at Indiana, and he already he's put up, actually had 4 points and a rebound. That's it.
That was
He's put up 5 now in this one.
It's one of those bad days for Terrence Jones, but you can tell he's come out ready to be engaged and effective from the start.
And a foul call on Sheehy of Indiana for pushing off. On a screen, they caught a moving screen, and it's 5-2 Kentucky.
Such tremendous balance for this Kentucky team. 5 guys average double digits. Most all of them can make plays off the dribble. Got to really be sound defensively. And then on the glass, good box out there. And Hulls, dangerous in transition if you don't tag him.
Underneath, Sheehy for the dunk. And it's the Wildcats lead by 1.
Well, I like that quick attack, Jim. One of the best ways to negate an outstanding half-court defensive team is to beat them down the floor.
Davis, look at him show the outside shot, which is no surprise to anyone who's been watching Kentucky this season, the former high school guard. Zeller, no foul call, but he's able to power his way for the basket.
Well, I like this early on. Twice now, Zeller has taken the ball right at Anthony Davis off the dribble.
And here's Anthony Davis working at the other end.
No double team, just a little dig, we call it, where a teammate comes in on the dribble to try to distract the post player.
Jones lost it on the way up and just tapped it toward the rim. Indiana comes out with it. Hulls from the wing, and that's a three to put Indiana up for the first time at 9-7.
One of the best three-point shooters we have in the country, Jordy Hulls, 49% from distance.
Lamb inside off the pass from Davis. Ties the game at 9. Hulls again, not this time, and it's Davis. With Teague racing up the floor, and he thought he might have been fouled. No call, and this time there is one. As Jones had the rebound for Kentucky.
Here you can see early on, Jim, both of these teams very comfortable playing a full-throttle, up-tempo game. Both excellent scoring teams. Indiana does it a little more with the three, but they'll hit you in transition, and both teams get to the free throw line a good number of times. About 24 attempts per game for Indiana, right about 23 free throw attempts on average per game from Kentucky.
That foul was on Hulls, his first.
Man-to-man both ways. Expect to see that pretty much the distance.
Oh, Teague. No one there to pick him up. It's almost like he was saying, where are they? He just went ahead and took it in and jammed it.
That's a major breakdown there. You can't leave the ball. I don't care what your defensive game plan or scheme is. You got to stay on the orange.
Opening minutes here, your impressions. It's a big time atmosphere, though, with two big league teams.
Yeah, storied programs, an Elite Eight berth at stake. The revenge factor is, though, even though players downplayed it, Jim, the Kentucky Wildcats have thought about it, believe me. You get beat by a team, it's your first regular season loss, your only regular season loss, and you get a chance to play them again, you want to get them back.
Davis blocks the Watford shot. Over to Lamb with the three. He's got it! Kentucky's up by 5, and Zeller underneath to Watford. Jones holding his ground. Watford back out to Hulls. Snaps at Sheehy. Into the paint and back outside. Watford with a shot to beat Kentucky in December. And it's Zeller on the glass, putting up and in.
3 drives for Cody Zeller. Much like shooting the 3 off the offensive rebound is a tough defend, so is the drive off an offensive rebound.
And Teague finding another seam. Zeller with Davis again, getting a piece of it. On the floor, it's into the arms of Teague. Kentucky got numbers, got Lamb. He is fouled as he launches it toward the basket. Foul is called on Hulls, and that will be his second. We reach our first break. Has 2 into the Elite Eight. The rest of those teams that you see doubled up have teams still in action tonight. Ohio State in, but Indiana on this floor. Well, you got Kentucky and Florida both in action right now, as well as Kansas and North Carolina State. So here we are, 16-11, and the Wildcats lead it. Very intense start to this game, just 5 minutes and 2 seconds in.
The second foul on Jordy Hulls, a concern for Indiana. Remy Abel comes in to replace him. The freshman has been getting more and more playing time as the season's gone on. He'll have to step up big here in this first half. Very good body, good quickness, and a capable defender.
On the floor, jump ball belongs to Kentucky. Coming up, AT&T at the half. Greg Gumbel, Greg Anthony, Kenny Smith, Charles Barkley. They'll take you on for a live look at NC State and Kansas on TBS and the latest NCAA tournament news. Anna Naismith, watch, presented by AT&T, all coming up on AT&T at the half. Kentucky at inbound again. Kid Gilchrist driving in, and somehow that rolls out.
Well, you want to make Kid Gilchrist shoot the jump shots. You don't want to escort him to the lane. Easier said than done, but poor defensive angle that time, I think, by Sheehy.
Oladipo.
You don't want to let him drive either if you're Kentucky. He is excellent at getting to the rim.
Sheehy got a hand on it to force Kentucky's first turnover. Watford into the paint. Sheehy bounce pass. And Oladipo is fouled, and Calipari can't believe it.
Foul on Anthony Davis.
That's 2 on him. By the way, Mark Harmon stars in a new NCIS Tuesday on America's #1 network, CBS. So that's a big headliner here. Davis with 2. Hulls on the Indiana bench with 2.
Well, you know, Davis had 4 fouls in that first meeting, and since then, Jim, he's not had more than 3 in a game. That's going all the way back to December.
So out he goes. Darius Miller, the beloved Kentuckian, in his senior year will be seeing a lot of minutes, no doubt, again tonight. Coming off of 35 minutes in the win against Iowa State. Two made by Oladipo.
Well, with Davis on the bench, it certainly affects what Kentucky is defensively. But offensively, it takes away one of the weapons that they like to use, throwing the ball above the rim for alley-oops.
Teague unable to get the finish.
Offensively, Kentucky becomes a tad more explosive because Miller can shoot the three and he can go off the dribble. And he's also a creator for other people.
Here's Remy Abel now, who's out there in place of Holes. And it's a foul call on Oladipo.
Illegal screen, Jim.
Yep.
Easy call. He wasn't stationary, and he made too much contact with the defender.
Another away from the ball situation.
And did they get Oladipo?
Might have been Zeller. It is on Zeller, and that's his first. So we've already had 3 fouls called away from the ball handler.
16 fouls on Indiana, Jim.
Lamb puts it up.
Boy, Kid Gilchrist does such a great job. There's a second foul on Zeller.
Wow, 2. Wow, just seconds apart. That is a huge, huge thing in this game at the 13:23 mark. Just when I thought they had the advantage with Davis down. 2 fouls in 4 seconds off the clock.
Well, so, I'd like to see that allowed to be played on. No, there was contact there, but no real advantage, disadvantage. It moved fairly well laterally. Incidental contact, I would rather that one not be called.
Lamb off again. That was the 16th foul. Abel's pass picked off by Lamb. Pritchard's on the floor for Zeller, number 25. And here's 25 of Kentucky, drawing another one on Oladipo. Nope, hold on a minute. That's on Abel. Watch every 2012 March Madness game live on your computer, your iPad, your iPhone, or select Android phones with NCAA March Madness Live. Visit ncaa.com/March Madness for more information. Teague will shoot 2.
Well, keep an eye on this, Jim. We're at 13-11. Kentucky in the bonus already. He gets the 2 free throws. He was in the act of shooting, but every common foul from here on out, Kentucky shoots free throws. And the Wildcats, a pretty good free throw shooting team, 72%.
There's Matt Roth.
Yeah, I dubbed him the Allen wrench because he's got one specific purpose and one use. That's knocking down triples. Have you ever used an Allen wrench, by the way? You can't use it for anything but one purpose.
It's been a while.
That's not one of those wrenches you can use for multitasking. Got one specific function like Roth. Good drive by Abel. Nice looking young player here, Remy Abel.
Yeah, Abel there to defend it. As Indiana comes out of a wrenching moment when Zeller picked up 2 fouls in 4 seconds. That's neat what you brought with your toolkit here tonight.
Yeah, and you don't miss a trick. You land right on top of it.
Out to Miller. Derek Elston also on the floor for Indiana right now, number 32. Wiltshire reporting in for Kentucky a few moments back. Here he is.
He can shoot it.
Freshman from Portland, the 3. Cal Wiltshire.
Had a game early this year where he went for 24, Jim. He's got a nice stroke, and as he gets stronger and more confident, he's going to be a really good player. No match, though, for Oladipo on the run to the rim.
Yeah, Oladipo took him right to the basket to get 2 back. Kentucky's up 21-19.
Look at that differential points in the paint. Started with 3 drives by Cody Zeller, who is now on the bench with 2 fouls. If you're Indiana, you want to try to make Kentucky settle for jump shots. The Wildcats really do a good job, though, of attacking the paint off the dribble.
What a tap by Miller, who follows up his own miss. Pritchard gives it up. Oladipo. He wants to drive in again, and the shot doesn't drop. but draws a foul on Kentucky. On Wiltjer. Kentucky has it 23-19.
The Wildcats lost in transition here. Halls pushes it ahead, the nice thrust. We arrow Will Sheehy, who cuts right behind Michael Kidd-Gilchrist. Excellent find. But that's all created by the quick thrust, spacing the floor by running the lanes, and then Kentucky's inability to tag guys running in transition.
Oladipo at the line. Wiltjer had fouled him as we went to the break. 2 shots. Indiana in the tournament for the first time since 2008. But in the Sweet 16 in this spot for the first time since 2002. And it was 10 years ago this week when in this spot they defeated the #1 ranked Duke Blue Devils on their way to making it here to Atlanta, to this very building, all the way to the national championship game where Maryland beat them for the title. He went on to play Kent in that regional final. Jones.
Grown man move right there. Just backed Pritchard up and took his time and finished. Even though Kentucky doesn't have much of a bench, the versatility of its 6 is like having 9 guys. Indiana has more players that it will use, but can they stay tight with Zeller off the floor here?
Watford hit the floor after the shot. No call. Up to Jones. No. As he is fouled on the way up.
It's a good play above the rim by both Jones and Oladipo. But Kentucky coming at you so fast. And make Terrence Jones earn it from the line. That's a good effort by Oladipo.
But it's his second foul, Clark.
Yeah, it is, and they're already over the limit. I mentioned it a while back.
So here's the question as Jones goes to the line. Still got 10:42 to go in the first half. The best player on each team down with 2 fouls. Davis for the Kentucky Wildcats. Zeller for the Indiana Hoosiers. Plus you got Hulls, who's down with 2 fouls. Will we see any of them again in the first half?
I don't think so. As long as the game is manageable, and I'm saying within a 6 to 10 point window, and if Indiana's doing the things it needs to do, getting good shots, they've got to rely on the guys that are available without the foul trouble. So where you miss a guy like Verdell Jones III.
Oh yeah.
Lost the rest of his season tearing his ACL in the Big Ten tournament.
Oladipo is also taken out with 2 fouls as Sheehy returns to the floor. Hulls is going to check in, by the way. Hulls is coming back in as Miller's up ahead, and Miller is fouled. The basket counts.
Boy, no reason for Watford to commit that foul. You've got to use discretion and let him go. And there it is right there. Watford had no chance to really make a play here. And you could tell he backed off at the last minute. He was trying not to foul, but he got himself in position by running up on Darius Miller there. And Jordy Hulls has returned to the game after that turnover by Abel. So Tom Crean feeling like he needed to get his starting point guard back out there to try to settle things down a bit here before it gets out of hand.
Kentucky with the last 6. Here's Hulls bouncing it down low. Sheehy has to come back out with it, and it's off Indiana. It's off Pritchard. No, hold on. It's going the other way. It's off Kentucky.
Jim, you can see Kentucky really trying to put the hammer down here now. They're picking it up defensively. This is where Indiana has to use its cut, space the floor, be strong with the ball. Tough shot there.
Watford able to hit it, though. His first points of the night.
Got to get back in transition.
Jones dunks it down. You saw that one coming, Clark.
And Tom Crean is livid. You can't give a high-octane team open court opportunities at the goal and think you're going to have a chance to beat them.
Timeout, Indiana. Teague to Jones. Kentucky up 9. So Davis still sitting down, as is Zeller. Going to stay. Well, hold on, let's check Zeller is coming back out. So they're going to go ahead and bring Zeller back on the floor.
Well, it's more desperate for Indiana right now than it is for Kentucky, Jim.
Yep, no question.
Not just by the score, but by the way things are going. Indiana lacked continuity and stability with Halls out for the time he was out, and then Zeller as well. So I like this move, quite honestly. I mean, you don't have any tomorrow, so you've got to go for what you know right now if you're Tom Crean to try to reel this game back in, and you've got to trust that Zeller can be aggressive and smart and play as much time as he'll be on the floor the last 9:45 without picking up that third foul.
Eloy Vargas, who has not been seeing a lot of playing time lately, but he's out there and he picks up a foul.
Only the 4th team foul on Kentucky.
Vargas, number 30, senior.
Floor, even though they have the 2 fouls.
There's Holmes with a jumper, yes, and it's down to 3 as Davis. Well, they committed to keeping him out the whole first half. The rest of the way,
well,
6-point run.
It'll be interesting to see if this game continues to be fairly tight. Will Tom Crean elect to try to get Cody Zeller back off the floor?
Yeah. Will Willie risk picking up that third here in the first half?
Well, you've got a media timeout coming up here shortly.
And there's Zeller backing off of Jones right there. Missed the little shot. Watford pulling it away. Lobbed up ahead, Zeller. Passes up the baseliner and a turnover committed by Indiana. So the traveling call brings us to the under 8 timeout.
Coverage of the NCAA Men's Basketball Tournament is sponsored by Coca-Cola Zero, the new Enterprise Plus, and by John Deere.
Back here in Atlanta, there's Coach Scott Drew, the Baylor Bears. There they are watching this one, trying to scout the next opponent in the regional final. They'll be here on Sunday after a 75-70 victory tonight against Xavier. An explosive start, 22-4 at the beginning of this one, and Quincy Acey putting on a show to lead the way for the Bears in their victory.
Yep, he sure did, and the Baylor Bears able to keep Xavier at bay most of that 40-minute period, Jim. Baylor got out to that big lead and never really seriously threatened in that game earlier tonight.
Zeller has gone back to the bench. Pritchard takes his place in the lineup. Number 25.
Well, Tom Crean got some solid minutes from Zeller.
Yeah, he got out there and got him back in the game.
Yep,
they were down 9.
That's right. Him and Jordy Holes both, and you see both guys. Well, Jordy's still out there.
Yeah, Holes is still on the floor with the 2. And there was Kid Gilchrist. And that's going back to Indiana. Well, that's Hoosiers to inbound here.
Well, I love that
that's
young
what
man's
Sheehy thought. They signaled it that way, and now
exactly.
it is Kentucky's ball. They signaled the wrong end of the floor.
Love that young man, Cody Zeller's demeanor. Much like Tyler, and even Luke, even-keeled guys. Just play the game, play hard, fundamentally sound. Never see them flustered. Just really, really enjoy watching them do their work between the lines.
There's Lamb. You can't leave him open. Nope. He is such a great shooter. Right back Sheehy, long with the 3-point attempt, and it's out of bounds.
Getting a little hand dap from Tom Crean to keep the confidence stoked. It was an errant shot, but it wasn't a bad shot in terms of quality. Quick hitting transition for a pretty good shooter. I'll take that just about every trip. Tough matchup here. Well, I thought Terrence Jones should have held on to that and gone to work. He had a small guy on him, smaller, and Sheehy gave that ball up too early. see both man and ball and be below the line of the ball or in line with it. That time Miller got way up too high and lost track of it.
That's a 2-point shot. Kid Gilchrist. No one near him defensively. Over to Watford. And he's able to get it up and over. Kid Gilchrist at that end of the floor.
That's where you miss the presence of Anthony Davis.
Pass Pritchard, and again on the board. Kid Gilchrist.
Too much foot speed for Tom Pritchard, who's been matched up with Gilchrist.
Watford, yes, and the basket counts with a chance to add to it at the line. Teague on the foul.
Watford has a huge size advantage on the smaller Teague, about 6 inches difference there. And a step, unless he got him with the body, I didn't see much contact there, Jim, certainly not up top.
Here is Watford at the line. He has made, you hate to do this, we had the 1-on-1 in the first game.
Why are you going to do it then?
Well, he's made 33 straight. You got to give it to him. Okay.
Why didn't you wait until it was 34?
You're going to have the whole Hoosier Nation now on me after
No,
that.
I won't have to do it.
I got the Kellogg Nation on me.
Oh, that's just coincidental. You know that.
Yeah. Somehow. Lamb is able to free himself an open shot.
Numbers if they can push it. Foul on Kentucky in the backcourt. Oh, this team is, again, with such balance. The Kentucky Wildcats and multiple weapons. They get a pretty high percentage of assists on the made field goals they have.
It's a 1-on-1 now. Derek Elston will have the chance to trim it to 1.
You know, last few possessions, Jim, I get the sense Kentucky is just in a bit of a hurry here.
Tipped out to Hulls. This could tie it. Watford does from outside. A three-pointer. Teague's going to come back out high with it. Inside of 5 minutes to play in the first half. Indiana's come back from 9 down. Kid Gilchrist, tough angle. And there's a foul on Elston.
Boy, he's just relentless, Jim.
Elston
Absolutely relentless.
almost had the rebound for a moment. Kid Gilchrist took it away from him. Elston picks up his first. So again, to the rest of the half. When Kentucky goes to the line, double bonus. He had a strong game against Indiana back December 10th. 18 points, 9 rebounds. The first team all-SEC player has one more to go.
He's only had 16 points and 10 rebounds total in his last 3 ball games.
Yeah, only 2 points against Iowa State last Saturday night. Got them both on that trip. 39-37 Kentucky. Hulls. Jump shot. Tied again.
Terrific job by Hulls to set up Teague. Curled him into the lane because Teague was chasing him coming off that screen and then had the little short jumper in the lane.
Kid Gilchrist getting open shots.
And that's by design, Jim. They don't want him to drive, so they're baiting him into settling for that perimeter shot. He's not become proficient at that so far in his game.
Watford puts Indiana ahead. Again, Hulls, the floor general, setting it all up. A 19-8 stretch. 19:05 mark, so now over 10 minutes. Sitting out with 2 fouls.
And you just saw the point differential, +3 for Indiana. I think that's part of the reason you don't see Anthony Davis back on the floor. And maybe John Calipari has just resigned himself to the fact that I can't afford to have him with 3 going into the second half. I'm trusting my team to be able to hold things down until we get to the second half.
Teague short with the shot, rebound bounces over to Elston.
Jim, I tell you, I think Kentucky's settling for too many quick perimeter shots here in this stretch where Indiana has started to seize control of things.
Tough shot. Watford gets the bounce, and Kentucky has its biggest deficit of the tournament in 3 games. They're down 4. And that's off the foot of Kid Gilchrist.
They're going 100 miles an hour for no reason.
The Harbaugh family. You see John Harbaugh, the Ravens coach, right there, and there's Jim Harbaugh to the left of your screen.
Half, NC State leads Kansas 17-11. Marvin, Steve, back to you.
All right, North Carolina in that regional final to take on the winner of NC State and Kansas. And the ball belongs to the Hoosiers with 3:23 to go in the half.
Full court pressure here, man-to-man, then trying to trap. Got to get it to the middle of the floor and then attack. Good job handling that pressure. Kentucky has to slow down offensively, Jim. I think they've been much too quick in their shot attempts the last couple of minutes. And after starting 7 of 10, they've gone 8 of 24 since.
And also 7 points down if you go the scoring since Davis went to the bench. Tough pass in there by Pritchard, but a foul called on Kid Gilchrist. Yeah, now there's Tom Crean. We showed you the Harbaugh brothers going to the break. Tom Crean is their brother-in-law. And you see Joni right here is Tom Crean's wife, Joni Harbaugh Crean. And her 2 brothers who went all the way to the AFC and NFC title games this year with the Ravens and the 49ers.
Indiana leaving a little cheese at that free throw line. You want to try to cash in and take advantage of every opportunity with Anthony Davis on the bench. There you see Indiana only 5 of 9 from the stripe, and that was the front end of a 1-and-1.
Now the senior calms things down for a moment for Kentucky. Miller.
Tom Pritchard is primarily a screener, ball facilitator, and he can catch and finish at the rim. Doesn't have the versatility of a Cody Zeller to take his guy off the dribble, but there he is, all right.
Richard missing on the dunk. The presence of Teague got him off balance. And inside of 2 minutes to go, and Davis is going to ride it out till halftime with the 2 fouls. It clears as Teague gets free. Tap up and in by Jones.
Yep.
To tie the game at 43. Watford tapped up Pritchard. Pritchard gets a hand on again. Chased down in the corner by Lamb. Kentucky in a sprint. Kid Gilchrist cradles it and banks it in for the lead.
Boy, they just keep coming at you. Even though they were a little bit out of kilter, and Kid Gilchrist, Jim, is excellent in the open court at getting to the rim no matter who's back defensively.
Last 6 points to the Wildcats. Watford gets free. Oh, and Jones rejected it, but they say he got a piece of the hand.
Watford doing a really good job taking this ball to the hole. Well, I thought he got on ball, but it was body.
Second foul on Jones.
Yeah, maybe lower body, but that was a heck of a play by Terrence Jones. Wow.
All right, so we're going to send Watford back to the line, and after the 33 consecutive makes, he's missed the last 2.
Time to start another streak.
It's called the reverse announcer's curse.
Oh, is that it?
Yeah.
Jordy Hulse was able to do a nice job with the 2 fouls.
Yeah, they played him a lot with the 2 fouls.
They sure did. Tom Crean just felt he couldn't afford to not have him on the floor, and credit Jordy Hulse for getting things done without picking up that 3rd foul.
A big gamble that paid off for the Indiana Hoosiers. Most points allowed in the first half of the season by Kentucky. This pace, it's been wild from the start. 45 all last minute. First half. Kid Gilchrist and a foul.
This kid's just a big-time winner. You watch him work, and he just continues to go at people. High energy all the time, and Pritchard just doesn't move his feet well enough. And by the time he does, he's got his body into him to commit the foul.
First foul on Pritchard. And that gives Kentucky the three-point lead. 49 seconds to go in a half, and Elston in for Pritchard.
Anthony Davis, John Calipari has been able to get his team back in good stead here after they went down, after the Wildcats went down for it. Things seem to be slipping away. A nice surge here to close the half, perhaps.
Outside, the call is against Miller of Kentucky. Now I'll make that on Kid Gilchrist. Give him 2. And again, double bonus, so 2 coming for Watford.
Watford's been terrific this half, Jim. Really attacking the basket. He's made some tough shots.
Pritchard for Indiana, Jones for Kentucky.
Should be last shot time for Kentucky here as Kid Gilchrist going to sit down with the 2 fouls.
Four straight makes.
Told you he was going to start another streak after you gave him the announcer's reverse.
Or the reversal.
Yeah, the reversal.
See if Kentucky runs it down here.
They should. There's no reason not to. Crean's in the stance. Tom Crean's over there in the defensive stance almost. Can't help him that way, Coach. It's all them right now. Boy, he got away with a push-off there.
Lamb with 8 seconds rolls off the rim, and a foul call on Indiana.
Well, I thought Lamb may have gotten away with the push-off there at the top of the key area.
Second foul on Pritchard. Just a reminder, Kansas and North Carolina State playing over on TBS. You can check out the action there. As Lamb 2 at the line. Hulls reinserted for the final 7 seconds. Good chest move by Crean. Put their floor general back out there. And Lamb, who was a big part of the Kentucky Final Four team of a year ago, will shoot one more. A team that took Kentucky to the promised land for the first time in 13 years. From 98 until 2011. Final 7 seconds. Watford launching, no. And we reach halftime in Atlanta with Kentucky leading it 50-47. And the Cats close it out 11-4. To come back from 4 down. 3-point lead at the intermission. And a well-rested Anthony Davis set to return for the second half.
You guys did a great job, and Christian Watford was phenomenal.
Thank you so much.
Yep.
Watford, thank you, Tracy. 15 points in the final 5:55 of that first half.
Terrific. Just absolutely brilliant play by Watford.
Oh! And Zeller squeezes in there with Davis defending and gets the basket underneath. 50-49.
Jim, just the way he started the game. Took it right at Anthony Davis, and that's a good strategy. He's got 2 fouls. Go right at him.
Lamb goes right past Zeller, who didn't want to risk a third.
Well, that's point of attack defense. You've got to contain the ball better than that so he doesn't get right to the rim.
Mills with a jump shot short. Sheehy, though, ran right to the spot, anticipating. Watford. Count the holes. Much bigger man on him is Jones. And tapped last by Davis. It'll go back to Indiana. Well, Davis, you know, he sat down the last 14 minutes, but it was over, if you went in real time, it was over an hour since he was last on the floor.
I was just going to make that point. You know, sometimes you get into foul trouble, Jim, and it disrupts the rhythm of your whole game. And you can't find that consistency and impact.
Well, he impacted that, got it up ahead. Teague for the two. That was all Davis standing his ground, defending underneath, and then snapping the outlet up ahead to Teague, who took it the rest of the way.
Good matchup here. Kid Gilchrist against Oladipo.
It's Zeller challenging Davis again, and this is the shot long. Kentucky. And Kid Gilchrist has his arms taken away by Sheehy, so we'll go to the line. Second one on Sheehy. Masters Live streams exclusive video of Amen Corner 15 and 16 and featured group. Go to CBSSports.com/Masters and Masters.com. Yes, that tradition, unlike any other, the Masters on CBS is fast approaching.
Well, he is so good in the open court, Jim, because he can go both ways, and he really attacks that backpedaling defender when he gets it in transition. I've always felt if you're a good ball handler and finisher, when you get it in the open court, you should get to the rim because defenders are backpedaling and in a bad situation, and he makes you pay if he catches you in transition.
And a foul's called on Terrence Jones. His third. So he becomes the first to reach that number of fouls.
And he'll sit down right away.
Yep, Darius Miller bounces off the bench and takes his place.
And Indiana gets some additional offense from some other people. Watford was the guy primarily throughout that first half. Victor Oladipo is dangerous when he's got an open lane.
There he goes, driving and scoring. Victor Oladipo. He's got 9 on the game.
Even Steven points in the paint. Everything about this one is practically even, Jim, when you look at the stats for the first half.
A three, they rule it. Falling backwards when he shot it. To answer it back, Watford, no. Long rebound to Teague. Hulls goes back to defend. And I tell you, Sheehy helped influence that. May have gotten a hand on it. To the wing and Hulls, yes! Rattles home to 3. Much needed as Kentucky had upped the lead to 8. That could have been double digits had they converted at the other end.
But both of these teams so good in transition. And one of the ways you try to negate any disadvantage you have inside is getting scores in the open court game.
Coach Cal thought there should have been a call on that open.
On that layup by Teague.
Open court trip, yes. And Miller draws the whistle this time on Watford. For Watford, his second. It's country music's party of the year, the Academy of Country Music Awards, live. That's next Sunday, April 1st. Only CBS. And Miller, here on the first. Jones wasn't out for long, was he?
He sure wasn't.
With the
Lamb
3?
sits down, yeah. When you've got experience And Jones is only a sophomore, but he's as experienced as anybody on this Kentucky squad other than Miller. Sometimes as a coach, you just expect your guys to be able to play with fouls. And that's certainly the case here.
Oladipo again driving in, somehow finds just the tiniest little opening and exposes it.
Doesn't need much, just a slither. Boy, he's really improved. When he adds a consistent three-point shot to his game, which he can do over the summer, watch out for Victor Oladipo. They say he's a tireless worker and a student of the game.
Look at Miller. 2 threes here in the recent going.
Basketball as it should be. I know people might talk about the defense or lack thereof, but these young fellas are putting the ball in the basket.
Yes. You don't see many games like this anymore.
No, not anymore.
Oladipo again, and as Kentucky brings it to this end.
And we can render the shot clock useless here tonight.
Yeah. Miller has scored the last 8 for Kentucky. Team shot blocked by Watford, and somehow on the baseline able to get it to Zeller for the save. Oladipo again, bounce pass down low. Sheehy
with the left hand, reverse. I'll tell you what, Jim. One of these teams is going to have to offer some resistance for a 2 or 3 minute period at the defensive end, and that's going to turn it. That's who's going to come out on top, or it could be last team with the ball.
Seen that before, haven't they? Kid Gilchrist, though, puts Kentucky back ahead by 6. Up ahead to Zeller, and he lost the handle. 8 players in this game already in double figures. 4 on each side, including Oladipo. Kentucky's lead at 66-60. Studio, Greg Gumbel's great interview there with Coach Billy Donovan, Coach Rick Pitino. 25 years since those two teamed up, led Providence to New Orleans to the Final Four. Coach Rick on the sideline. Billy the Kid on the floor, number 34. Now they'll meet tomorrow for the right to go to New Orleans. We'll see it on CBS.
Billy the Kid was spraying threes, and Rick Pitino, the first coach that really fully embraced the three-point shot as a way to win.
Well, boy, did he ever. It was right when the three-point shot came into play.
Yep.
And he had it figured out ahead of anyone else. How to use it effectively and defend it. Zeller traveled, no basket. 6 rookie cops in one gritty city, NYC. 2-2. Premieres Sunday, April 15th, only CBS.
Boy, this game has been up-tempo, high-octane, and cleanly played in terms of turnovers. Only 10 total. Big-time rebound and almost a strip away by Oladipo.
Timeout called by Kid Gilchrist on the floor. Had there been a tie-up, it would have gone to Kentucky, but he took the timeout. 13:37 to go. Early edge of this half to the Wildcats. Halftime lead of 3 is up to 8. Shooting over 50% for the game. Kentucky's Davis with 2 points, but his Cats are up by 8 with possession. Jim Nantz with Clark Kellogg and Tracy Wolfson here at the South Regional Sweet 16 at the Georgia Dome. And that goes right through the fingertips of DeRon Lamb. First turnover in the last 10 minutes of action for Kentucky.
So that makes it 12 assists on 4 turnovers as Christian Wofford comes back in, replacing who left. Couldn't tell who actually left. Was it Elston?
Elston sat down after just a brief stint, and there's the dunk by Wofford. Back into the game and putting up 2. First points of the half for Watford after 17 in the first half. Abel is on the floor for Hulls. Oh, and Davis just threw it up thinking he was going to draw the foul, but nothing there. All those first half foul concerns for the big stars, nothing more has been added to them, as Watford unable to hit the 10-footer.
And Jim, that's one of the reasons why it's not an automatic that a guy should sit with two. You heard John Calipari tell Tracy Wolfson about why he elected to keep Anthony Davis on the bench in that first half. But he said, we played without Davis before, and our other guys can rise up, and Michael Kidd-Gilchrist certainly did that. Relentless attacks on the goal. He's got 15 points right now, Jim, and a handful of rebounds as well.
Kentucky 13 out of 14 at the line and has made its last 11.
You trying to go 2 for 2? Lamb said it's not going to happen.
I didn't know what you meant.
Yeah, right.
Now Teague on. Kidd-Gilchrist out.
Well, you look at this game, Jim, and you just see the explosiveness and the number of weapons that Kentucky has. Driving to the ball, to the goal, knocking down threes. Miller or Lamb. Can Indiana outscore this team? And they're a really good offensive team. I don't know if they can. Somehow they've got to find a way to come up with stops.
Sheehy wanting to get it to Zeller. Abel didn't get a clean handle for a while on that. The shot was never, ever going to be a confident one.
Davis showing you the ball skills that he possesses. There's that significant growth spurt. Took him from a, what, 6'3", 6'4" guard.
Well, they'll even tell you 6'2" just 2 years ago. I mean, it's wild as he puts it up off balance.
Couple of forces, but you're right. He's trying to draw that foul on Cody Zeller. And I understand attacking a guy in foul trouble, but you have to do it judiciously.
Miller collects his first. Dunked by Watford, but Lamb at the other end has Kentucky up by 8.
Miller.
Basically flat-footed.
This year, enjoy more madness with Coke Zero. Text CAMP camp to 2653 for a chance to attend an ultimate basketball camp with 3 of your friends. So here's a look at Davis. First game against Indiana. Only 6 points and 4 fouls, and in the early foul issues here, 6 minutes action first half. Been on the floor the whole second half. Hasn't scored in this half. Hit 1 jumper early in the game.
Right, 2 points. He's got 5 rebounds, 2 assists, and 2 blocks in 14 minutes, Jim.
Off the rim. Pritchard able to get it off the hop. Oladipo inside and not to be denied. And the Harbaughs are standing throughout.
Well, they're used to standing, being on those sidelines in the NFL.
No doubt. What a coaching family, of course.
Major.
Tom Crean's father-in-law, Jack Harbaugh, legendary college football coach in his time. And here's Lamb inside and able to again put up 2 more.
Well, the threat of the three-point shot forces you to close out on him. And if you don't do it on balance, he'll go right by you.
He's got 17, Clark.
Quietly and efficiently.
Oladipo decided to fire up the 3. All Kentucky with Davis underneath. And there's T. Miller inside, and the jump ball arrow belongs to Kentucky. So Kentucky to inbound underneath. Largest lead it's had in this game was 9. That came in the first half. Davis just a couple of years ago really only offered a scholarship initially by one school, Cleveland State. In your hometown of Cleveland.
That's right.
The Vikings.
Gary Waters doing an outstanding job there for the Vikings.
And then the growth spurt.
Changed everything.
Kidd-Gilchrist going to reach in on Indiana. Oladipo on the foul. His third.
Fourth team foul on Indiana, so still a couple away from the penalty. Don't want to pick up the foolish one here.
Man, the shot rolls off. There's Davis. That's blocked, but no, they say. Piece of the arm. Oladipo again. And that is 4 for him.
Drives to the basket really compromise your defense, even if the shot is missed, because it's really difficult to get blockout responsibilities handled when that defense has been compromised off the dribble penetration.
Anthony Davis with his third point of the night. Oladipo has to go out.
Yep.
Sheehy comes in. So does Zeller, but they also send back to the bench Roth.
Kentucky on the verge of perhaps cracking this open, Jim.
Well, that's the biggest lead of the night now. It's up to 10, and that becomes Indiana's biggest tournament deficit. Pauls, though, reduces it to 8. They were down 9, their previous biggest deficit. Second half against Virginia Commonwealth. Came back to be Shaka Smart's team in a thriller.
They were down 9 here early in the first half as well, Jim.
Yep.
Remember, 31-22.
Yep, then took a 4-point lead for a brief while in that first half.
And the 11-4 run by Kentucky to close the half.
Davis passing inside to Gilchrist. Gilchrist right underneath and one.
John Calipari says any coach in America would love to coach Kid Gilchrist. And you see why. Just relentless and persistent.
Third foul on Watford.
Yep.
And got a timeout coming from the Indiana bench. 10-point lead and a free throw on the way. Really raised him. His uncle Darren Kidd didn't show up at the party that followed the announcement. He had gone to St. Patrick's High School there with Kyrie Irving. Turns out he had suffered a fatal heart attack that very day that he committed to Kentucky. And when he showed up to school just last September, he took on the name from Michael Gilchrist to Michael Kidd Gilchrist as a salute to the man who made such a difference in his life.
I think that also speaks to the fabric of this kid's heart and who he is as a young man, taking on a leadership role with this Kentucky team. Good play by Anthony Davis up top. Clearly all pumpkin. So the Hoosiers now down 11.
His 169th block of the season. The Kentucky single-season record by a mile. Is Watford too strong with the shot? 3 blocks on the night by Davis. You're sensing a danger zone here for Indiana.
Without question. The ground is starting to crack under the feet of the Hoosiers. And this kid just won't give up.
And there will Davis. Yep. Indiana had its hands on the ball a couple of times, but Kentucky relentless. Ended up getting enough tries to get the basket.
See, the dilemma that Indiana has here, Jim, and I made the point a little bit ago, the best way they play is up-tempo and high-octane. But Kentucky is excellent in that game as well, and perhaps even better in it than Indiana. Ideally, you would like to try to be able to slow Kentucky down some way with maybe a more deliberate style, but that doesn't play into the hands of what Indiana does best.
Second foul on Miller, third team foul, and able to make quite a move. Remy, as you said, getting some big minutes here. Tournament time.
Well, I see this young man having a bright future with this Indiana club. I mean, you look at his body, his explosiveness.
Watford with the rebound off the Jones miss.
His IQ, I mean, he handles himself well out there. What a catch. Great catch.
Zeller able to convert. The Kentucky contingent wanted the charge call as Jones hit the deck.
Your football partner, Phil Simms, would love to have a receiver handle one like that, wouldn't he?
I guarantee, and I know one thing, of course, he's from Kentucky. I guarantee he's watching this one right now.
Oh, we know that's for sure.
That's a travel call. Go back to back to Indiana. Phil's from Louisville. But he follows, of course, Morehead State, his school. And there's Zeller scoring at the other end. It'll go back to Indiana out of the break. They're down 9. All righty, thank you, Greg. And well, just think about those two possibilities there in St. Louis on Sunday. North Carolina State. They played in the ACC tournament, a tight one.
Yep.
Or North Carolina, Kansas. I mean, it's going to be a beauty either way.
That's right. That's right.
Meanwhile, Baylor is all set here in the South Regional Final after its victory earlier tonight on this stage against Xavier. Will it be Baylor against Kentucky? Hold on, they've got a wet spot on the floor, so you stop the action. Or Baylor, Indiana. Indiana will try to mount the charge here at 7:45 to go.
Well, Indiana made a nice little comeback against VCU, Shaka Smart's team. The Rams had another outstanding season this year.
So a glance there again of Coach Green, strong National Coach of the Year candidate. Plus 15 wins this year, which is like approaching record territory if you go through the Big Six conferences, like the best since 1974.
But they're going to have to mount a furious rally here now, because Kentucky can put points on the board. It's important for Kentucky to stay aggressive. I mean, still far too much time. I mean, we're at 7:40, so no reason to be thinking about anything other than playing exactly the way the Wildcats have played, aggressive and attacking. Indiana has to do the same thing.
Watford making the move, and the ball came out. Kentucky forces the turnover, and Kid Gilchrist glides home. 20 points with the freshman from New Jersey.
You know what he does so well when he goes in transition, Jim? He protects the ball and takes long strides, but he really covers that ball.
He cradles it like
so they can't get to it. So the defenders can't get to it, and then he's strong enough, even if they hit it, he's going through them.
Big pull-up jumper. No. Lamb inside. Saved by Davis on the floor. It'll come out the holes. Yeah, you can't take it away from him when he's got it like that.
No, he cradles it and protects it. This is a big shot here.
Got it, Watford. He waited for Davis to go by him. Brings it to 8 with 6:42 to play.
Gilchrist either hurting a little bit or fatigued. Just looking at him, he's trying to catch his breath now. Trying to get Lambs free off a little curl. Good defense that time by Abel. Jones about to check in, leaving the Kentucky bench.
Davis runs into Zeller, and there is the third on Cody Zeller. Sunday, travel the world on a new amazing race. That's coming up Sunday after 60 Minutes here on America's Most Watched Network. So there's that third one.
Took a while.
Did.
And he picked up his second way back. Let me see. I had 13:33 of the first half. So
yeah, those two fouls in the first half coming 4 seconds apart. Jones for Kid Gilchrist, who needed a breather.
Yeah, you could tell he was looking for some oxygen.
And Oladipo for Abel. Oladipo with the 4 fouls.
And deservedly so, Kid Gilchrist. That's long. And Oladipo will try to get to the finish line without picking up that 5th foul.
Takes it in on Teague. And the foul outside on Teague.
Only the 4th team foul on Kentucky. I talked about it in the first half, how this team, Kentucky, doesn't typically foul a lot, so they've still got a couple to give. Indiana already over the limit.
That's just the second on Teague. Hesitation, and Zeller able to get it up and over Davis. Down to 7.
They're in the neighborhood. Anytime it's 2 or 3 possessions, even 4, with this kind of time left, the way Indiana can shoot the 3, they feel like it's a tight game in that situation.
Jones looking for some help. 4 on the shot clock, by the way, and Indiana steals it. Over to Watford. Davis is out of position now. Watford in the paint. Zeller put back, yes. 82-77. Indiana has responded. 16 for Zeller. And that's going to be a foul there on Indiana.
Oladipo.
And that is it for Oladipo. NCAA.com. Get coverage of the Division I women's basketball tournament. NCAA.com/Final Four. So they lose one of their star players, and Oladipo averages 11 points a game. He had 15 tonight. And on top of that, he's an all Big Ten defender. And you see that disappear.
Well, you see his fire. Clearly disappointed that he'll have to watch the rest of this one. We're trying to inspire his teammates to fight and come all the way back. They'll miss his ability to go off the dribble. He is excellent getting to the rim in addition to what he brings defensively and just from an athleticism standpoint. So Matt Roth replaces Oladipo, not nearly the defender, but he is a terrific three-point shooter.
And Kentucky sends its terrific shooter Lamb to the line for a 1-and-1. People that know the history of Kentucky, Indiana will tell you that probably the game that stands out the most is the time they met back in '75 in the tournament in the regional final of the Mid-East. Kentucky upset #1 and undefeated Indiana. The next year, of course, the Hoosiers came back and won the national championship without losing a game. Could have been. Had it not been for Scott May and a broken arm, Indiana could have conceivably had back-to-back undefeated championships.
Well, those that were around that team claim it was better than the '76 team.
Well, the '75 team, and Dr. Steve Alfeld, the Indiana team doctor, is on that bench. He was on that '75 team that had beaten Kentucky by 24 in the regular season. And Kentucky then beat them 92-90 in Dayton in that regional final. As Watford is off on the 3, and Davis chases it down back to Kentucky, leading by 7. Approaching 4 minutes.
This is one of the areas where Kentucky has gotten better since the first meeting. Half-court execution. And they like to play through Miller because he can do that.
That took on Roth and ran it right to the basket.
Yeah, that's a tough matchup for Roth.
17 for Miller, 10 in this half. And Miller commits the foul at the other end, which will be just the 15th foul, the 3rd on Miller. Lamb coming up big. Miller coming up big. As is Kid Gilchrist. Kentucky up 9. Kentucky 86 points on the board, and we're possibly going to put up the most that Indiana's ever allowed in an NCAA tournament game. Back in 1958, Notre Dame put up 94. Kentucky led by 3 at halftime. Second half lead has been as large as 13. Indiana cut the margin to as close as 4 on a couple of occasions.
But this hole will be hard to come out of if you're Indiana. You got to knock down some threes. Try to pressure Kentucky into some mistakes, but this Wildcats team with Miller and Lamb and Kid Gilchrist being able to make plays off the dribble and at the rim.
6th team foul and the 3rd on Teague.
Well, Indiana will try to drive them and see if they can get into the bonus, and that gives you a chance to try to make a comeback if you can get free throws down and score the ball with the clock stopped.
Holes in there helping retain possession. Sheehy step back free throw line jumper. No. Watford battling, and it stays with Indiana. And Terrence Jones. Teague will come out.
Big difference in this one, Jim. The free throw game for Kentucky, plus 12 there. Indiana normally takes 24 attempts a game, only 13 so far. They'll get 2 more here, though.
Lamb commits that foul. That's his second, but here's what he's done at the other end.
He's so smooth, Jim. And he's got a nice, well-rounded game. He's got the excellent stroke, which gives him another added half step of quickness because you have to come out and get into him. And then he's got the ball skills and the speed and savvy to go around you and finish as well.
Remy Abel will shoot one more, the freshman from Louisville, Kentucky. Teague was only out for seconds. But Abel is the first Indiana Hoosier basketball player from the state of Kentucky, the first native Kentuckian to play for Indiana since 1970. And there he was last year playing in the Kentucky-Indiana All-Star Series, wearing a Kentucky uniform, while the man handling the ball right here for Kentucky, talking about Teague, out of Indianapolis, was wearing the Indiana uniform.
How about a bit of irony there?
Yeah, matched up against one another.
Tough matchup here.
Miller. Holes defending, back out Lamb. Watford bad influence that kid. Gilchrist fouled on the way up.
Well, you put a smaller guy on him. Actually, even a bigger guy is going to have a tough time keeping him off the glass. He goes like he's starving every time to that offensive glass.
3rd on Sheehy. 2 shots coming up. Kid Gilchrist at the line. You know, when we were watching the brackets come down, we were in Indianapolis having covered the Big Ten tournament, and then chair of the committee, Jeff Hathaway, came over. We looked at the brackets, and it didn't take long to spot the possible Sweet 16 matchup. Kentucky, Indiana, you know, that just...
Yeah, you just got kind of a natural radar for that kind of stuff.
Started looking down the line because, I mean, how memorable was the game after all down in Bloomington, December the 10th?
Right.
With the Watford winner, the 3 to win it at the buzzer. And all the history, the rich history between these two. And I got to tell you, it hasn't disappointed as far as electricity.
Not at all. It's been a great environment here. Tremendous energy, and basketball on roller skates for a change instead of in boots. These teams have gotten up and down and have never, ever threatened the shot clock.
Jones blocked the Holes 3 attempt. Holes was trying to cut it to 6.
Blue Nation faithful starting to feel it, sensing that another game is on hand for Sunday.
As Watford will send Teague to the line, 4th on Watford. And it's 10-team fouls, so double bonus the rest of the way. Of course, you never know what's going to happen. You can't always go down the line of the brackets, but you start trying to get a little perspective and frame what a Kentucky run to the championship could be.
Yeah, right.
Could be. Again, you can't look past. You got to finish this one off.
Oh yeah.
But you can't look past the Baylor. But perhaps it could be the all-time rivalry run to a title. It could be a Louisville team waiting for him in the national semis, and it could be a North Carolina team waiting for him in the championship. That would be Indiana, that would be Louisville, and North Carolina. They're three biggest non-conference rivals in the regular season on the way to a title, just perhaps.
Well, as the storyteller that you are, those are things that you take a look at, and you know what? We might have it unfold, perhaps. Perhaps.
It could happen.
Just that way.
It could happen.
Strong move by Sheehy on the other end, but Kid Gilchrist to the foul line. He's been excellent from the free throw line. Has he missed one yet? I don't think so.
Well, Kentucky overall is plus 14 from the line in an 11-point game. Kentucky for the night is 26 out of 28. And Kid Gilchrist now is 9 for 9.
I didn't think he had missed one, Jim. I thought he was. Uh-oh, I don't want to do what you did.
You wouldn't do that, would you? Come on.
No, there you go, Michael. Kid Gilchrist. Way to get me out of that jam.
92-81 inside 2 minutes. He's tied his career high, Kid Gilchrist, with 24. Watford step back three. Yes!
Man, boy, that was a tough shot.
Keeps Hoosier hopes alive, down to 8.
And they're going to need some help from Kentucky. Either mistakes or missed free throws. And the foul game is in play here for Indiana.
Sheehy has fouled out. So they've lost Oladipo. Now they lose another starter in Will Sheehy, the fine sophomore out of Stuart, Florida. He was a high school teammate with Fab Melo. Little Syracuse, Ohio State action coming up tomorrow.
One heck of a matchup tomorrow, Jim. The speed of Syracuse was really on full display yesterday in a game effort by the Wisconsin Badgers. I thought Wisconsin played about as perfect an offensive game as you could. Ball movement, spacing, three-point shooting right there at the end, and just could not quite make enough plays. Credit to Syracuse, Dion Waiters, Jardine, all performing. C.J. Fair had a terrific game as well. And the Buckeyes getting huge numbers from Deshaun Thomas. As you take a look at Victor Oladipo, this young man's got a bright future, Jim. I love the way he goes about his business. And with work on that perimeter shot, with his ability to get to the rim and defend, he could be a major, major impact player. I'm talking about all conference level and beyond.
There's Zeller as Holes fed it to him down low. Abel tried to steal the inbounds pass and tried to sneak up from behind on Lamb.
Well, you take a look at this Kentucky team and you start thinking about how do you beat them? How can you beat them? What's it going to take? There are no glaring weaknesses, Jim. No glaring weaknesses. Forget about the youth. Non-issue from this point on.
And just a reminder, Kansas, North Carolina State over on TBS right now.
These guys are unselfish. I'm sorry, Jim.
Miller picks up his fourth. No, there's, you know, they're going to run into a team here on Sunday. Again, we still have a minute to go here.
Right.
And the margin is 10. They're going to run into a Baylor team that was in a regional final 2 years ago. And they're still groaning about a call at the end of that game against Duke down in Houston. A charge call that did not go their way. Duke went on and won the championship, but it was a close game.
Sure was.
And that is a very good-looking team when you see them in person.
Oh, without question. I mean, when you talk about talent and matching up athleticism, Baylor is right on par with Kentucky at just about every position. So it should be, I'm assuming that, well, still not over. We can't quite refrigerate this one yet.
Christian Watford from nearby Birmingham, Alabama, where his father Ernest is a police officer there. All the family making the short drive over here to see him play. And timeout called by Kentucky. Watford with a 27-point season-high effort. The free throws makes the margin 8.
It's March. It's time to play ball. It's a time for upsets and comebacks and miracles. It's when you go with the favorites, but fall in love with Cinderella. It's March. It's time to bring the crazy. Best Buy is here to help you find your perfect TV. And with our Perfect Match promise, if it's not your perfect match, we'll pick it up and take it back for free. Plus, with the purchase of select LG TVs, you get a free
There's no more strategy than that.
As Miller gets it into Lamb, who skids to a stop right in front of the Indiana bench, and will head down for more free throws. So that is now the 96. It's the most Indiana in its proud tournament history. That's most it's ever allowed in a single game.
Well, I mean, this team they're playing can put points up in bunches now.
Yeah, could in fact reach the 100-point mark. Kentucky's hit its last 10 free throws. And Roth returns. Coach Crean and his group of seniors like Matt Roth and Corey Barnett, Daniel Moore, Tom Pritchard, and Verdell Jones. You remember Kentucky's team of unforgettables 20 years ago. This was the first five, is what they call them, for Tom Crean, that came back from some very, very lean times when Coach Crean had to come in, inherit the program that was in shambles, clean house, go with 9 freshmen and 8 walk-ons his first season that won 6 games out of 31. Rockford missing and Davis rebounding. And Kentucky heading back down to the other end. That's 12 rebounds on the night for Anthony Davis. And the Wildcat Nation starting to sense that a Sunday appointment is on the way with the Baylor Bears.
Well, I'm looking forward to that one, Jim. And how about this free throw shooting by Kentucky?
I mean, you're talking about 32 out of 34. Remarkable.
It's not like it's just one guy. I mean, it's everybody.
This has got to be
Lamb.
It's got to be near record territory. You know that, for that many attempts.
I would certainly think so. There haven't been many better. I know that.
Zeller with the putback for 2 more. And timeout called by Indiana. Kentucky reaches the 100-point.
A nice gesture here, Jim, by Tom Crean.
And he's also going to try to get him in there to help make a steal if they can. Moore, the senior from Carmel, Indiana, just outside of Indianapolis. There's Moore. And also
to commit the foul.
One who can commit the foul.
That's right, yeah.
So they now return to the lineup. Watford and Roth. Daniel Moore, actually, early in his career, he was starting games. He was a prominent player.
Right, out of necessity.
Hoosier program.
He sure was.
Back onto the floor for the Hoosiers, number 30, Matt Roth, and number 2, Christian Watford.
And Kentucky just remarkable from the line.
It sure is.
35 of 37.
No crack at all. Indiana tries to fight back, and the free throws made by Kentucky, and Tom Crean says that's going to do it.
Yeah, they'll let it go now. An Indiana season, the turnaround season to put them back on the map, is going to end in the Sweet 16. Much to be proud of. They beat a 1, they beat a 2, and they beat a 5 this season.
The Hoosiers are back, Jim.
Hoosiers are back, no question, and a huge recruiting class coming in.
That's right. Promising future.
But Kentucky is moving on. The Wildcats ratchet up the heat in the second half and go on to a 102-90 victory. On to the Elite Eight. So the South Regional Final is a 1-3. Kentucky and Baylor will battle it out here for the right to go to New Orleans. And we'll see you back here for the South Final on Sunday afternoon here on CBS. You can turn to TBS right now for Kansas and North Carolina State. For Clark Kellogg and Tracy Wolfson, Bob Dickus,